since I'm down here anyways, going towards the airport, the airport can have license plate readers, and they should have ability to read the VIN number, the vehicle identification number. That should have some type of RFD built into it on newer cars. But it's a way for them to identify the drivers. But in places like in Saudi Arabia and that, you have problems if they're wearing the facial coverings in the car to facially recognize them. So the vehicles, you'd have to facially recognize the people. Now, the people in the front seat are easy. The people in the back seat is difficult. And that's where you have to do it through side windows. At least the airport's doing something for the holidays. It should say, Mayor Brandon Johnson. Oh, here. It says, thank you for, visiting Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson, thank you for visiting Chicago. You would think he'd say that, right? Not just Mayor Brandon Johnson, but Mayor Brandon Johnson thanks you for visiting Chicago, and we look forward to see you again, right? Thank you for visiting Chicago. We look forward to seeing you again. And they should say that in the airport. Like, the ones that are at the gates leaving, every so often they should say, thank you for visiting Chicago. Even if you're on a stopover, thank you for visiting Chicago. But, it's a little different, and you have to talk to, getting back to airport security, they have to identify people with the plate readers and that. They can, and rental agencies, I told you, have to feed into the DMV. So the person renting the car has to feed into the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. So when they pull up the plate, they can pull up who is currently renting the vehicle. And so this is, for matching. So, the World Trade Center and that, you need to match the people. I was going to go below, but I guess I'll go up. And so you want to match the people to the vehicle. And if they know that, on fake IDs, stolen plates and that, you won't be able to match. Remember, you got to match the car and the people to the plate. So it's a cross-referencing of the vehicle. So it's my plate, and then it should be a 2017 Chevy Cruze, per se. The plate has to match the vehicle, and the plate has to be valid. And then it matches the driver. So there's nothing holiday here. And on the signage, they can put up little Christmas stuff. Since it's split screen, they can do things or put special events like, thank you for the AMA for visiting Chicago. Truly. On the departures and that, thank you for visiting Chicago, the American Medical Association. Look forward to you coming back again. But this is welcoming people and saying goodbye to them. Creating the warm fuzzies. So when people get off the plane and they're walking down the concourse, it can say, if there's any conventions in town, it can say the convention thing, welcome to Chicago, participants in the American Medical Association conference. So, but they can match these things, and so you can't have a fake plate on a vehicle. Because when they do the plate, a fake plate won't match the vehicle. So when you do a plate reader and it matches it to the vehicle, that's where shape recognition comes in, and color recognition, shape and color. Then you know what the vehicle is, and then the plate, and the plate comes up, and it comes up invalid, number one, and it's not going to match the vehicle, number two, if it's a stolen plate. If it's a stolen plate, it's not going to match the vehicle. Now, you have stolen cars, but again, that's why I go with the lobe jack and the GPS. So when you're out of town, say somebody wants to do something and they steal your car when you're out of town, right? So the car alarm doesn't matter, but the GPS location does matter, and the car is no longer at home. So it matters, and it needs to be automatically reported to the police. Truly. And if the plates are missing, they should be reported by that person, but again, they won't match the vehicle. Now, you're saying they have another Chevy Cruze. Well, that's a possibility, and it's the same color, but it's not that Chevy Cruze. Well, that's where the VIN number comes in, the vehicle identification number. And remember, the plate readers need to cross-reference vehicles. Like if I'm with one plate, I have one plate and vehicle identification number, and it goes, and then all of a sudden another Chevy Cruze has the same plate and same vehicle identification number. That's systems talking to each other. And they do a nice job in Rosemont with, all the Christmas stuff. So, where am I? I'm going to go straight. But, again, it has to speak to each other and cross-reference. And remember, on the Customs and Border Patrol, lots of cars get stolen and they go into Mexico and Canada. So the big thing is getting the cars across the border, because the Canadian police, they're not looking for that stolen vehicle. But they should be, but they're not. And the Mexican authorities, if they were not corrupt, so you got to catch it at the border. But the thing is, you can't have stolen vehicles coming into the country from Canada and Mexico. It's a two-way street. So they could steal vehicles in Canada and Mexico and bring them down here, and you need to know if they're valid or not. Because if they're not valid, then they can use that for, bad things. So again, they have to work with Canada and Mexico. And then any vehicles that, like my friend Costa, used to ship in cars and ship out cars, buying cars, and those cars have to be registered and identified by the Port Authority, by Customs and that. The plate, the origin, the VIN number, and that needs to be linked back to the manufacturer. The vehicle identification number has to be linked back to Ford or Chevy or whatever. And you have to have salvage titles when something gets totaled, but the body shop gets it, which they do buy. Sometimes it's extensive hail damage, and the car is considered total because of severe hail damage. I was looking at, and this was a good buy too, getting cars that were severely hail damaged. And the insurance company would total them because the hail damaged the broken windows, the dents all over the body, and the panels all over the body and that were dented and damaged, but the guts of the car were perfectly fine. but the insurance company totaled the car. And then body shops, if you own a body shop, they would buy these cars and fix all the hail damage. And now the car is considered salvage, and you get a salvage title, but the car is perfectly new. You can pick up Lexuses and everything else. Now, yes, the body's been redone of the car because it was immensely damaged from hail. But the car, now they also flood where the car is totaled, and the insurance company totals the car with flood. Now, the flood ones, those are more questionable because, the car has been immersed in water and that, but still, they're a steal because they get a salvage title. The insurance company considers them totaled. And if you can clean them and remove all the water, drain the fluids, flush them out, we can do things we couldn't do before. So now you can flush cars out. You can dry the systems. So even if it's total water damage, you can rehab it. Now it has a salvage title still. And the title tells the car was totaled because of flood damage or hail damage or maybe a combination. But these vehicles are dirt cheap. And you can get some seriously nice vehicles. But if you own a body shop, working with a mechanical shop for that type of damage, so body and mechanical shop working together in partnership, this is how they can make money, by capturing these cars and restoring them. So if you have a body shop and mechanical shop and you work together in a joint operation, you can buy all kinds of old cars, used cars meaning, or cars that have hail damage or flood damage, and you can buy them from around the world. You can buy them from around the world, and you bring them in and you restore them. But you have to have the people willing to, do the work. And then you have to give a seriously good warranty with the vehicle. And if you're doing really good work, why wouldn't you give a solid 5 years, 40,000 or whatever it is, miles? Now, this is the village of Rosemont, and they do very good job with Christmas, all the lights and everything. And, it's great. If they have layovers at the airport, you can leave the airport if they have a shuttle from Rosemont to the airport. It's just a Rosemont shuttle. It comes in and picks people up on stopovers, and they inform them at the airport, and you can book through Open Table at Gibson's or any of the restaurants, the small Chevelle and that. We did that. I told you with Jennifer Kim. I drove up to the airport, and she was just in a stopover, but we went for dinner in the Hilton Hotel that's attached to the airport. And a layover, she had a 2-hour layover. And so I met her for dinner. She got off the plane, went straight to the hotel. I was already there, and when she showed up and we got our table and we ate, and then she walked back with 45 minutes before her flight. So we spent an hour and 15 minutes together having dinner in a layover. So Rosemont can have a shuttle that goes through the airport, picking up people on layover and taking them to dinner. But remember, they have a couple-hour layover. Now, we had more than that when we were in Africa. I'm going to Africa. When we were in Europe, in I'll drive by the casino up here, but we were in Denmark, and I think we had 4-5 hour layover. So we went out on the city of Denmark. That's when I visited the Anne Frank, and we went to a cafe, and we went all over. It was beautiful on the layover. So we just had 4 to 5 hour stopover. So sometimes layovers can be an incredibly great thing. And then we got on the plane going back. But it would have been nice if we had the same thing on the way back. I would have loved to stop in another European city. So we went from the United States to Europe, Europe to Africa. But we went to the Netherlands. But we could have, on the way back, stopped in Germany and did a 5-hour or 4-hour layover in Germany, get out in Frankfurt and go out, see a little bit of the city, and then, come back and, get on your plane. You can spend, if you got a 5-hour layover, you can spend 3 hours in the city. That's a lot of time. You can go out to eat, and it was a lot of time. So good things can happen on layovers. And that's a lot of business, getting people out of the airport, even at Midway, and capturing the layover business. Even if they want to come up to the casino, have a bite, play a little bit of cards for a few hours while they're on layover. I'm not going into the casino, but I'm turning around here. But the casino can get people on layover. It's standard sometimes to have a 4-hour layover. So you can get out, come to the casino, have a bite to eat, play some cards, and then go back to the airport. And they don't have really much Christmas lights up at the casino. So I don't go in here. They don't like me. One thing they made clear around Chicagoland is they hate my guts. That is for sure. The last 10 years, they've beat on me unbelievably unrighteously. They made, without a shadow of a doubt, they fucking, excuse the French, they hate me. People have made that unbelievably clear how much they unbelievably hate me. I just want to put that in, but it's true. The evil they've done to me over the last 10 years, unbelievable. I mean, I had it in the first breakdown. It was bad. But this one is unprecedented from what people have done to me. So, beautiful Christmas stuff. So, they made it clear as day. They hate my freaking guts. They hate my life. They hate me here. I mean, hate me. So, I want to get that across, that they've demonstrated incredible, everyday, consistent, unbelievable hate towards me. Unprecedented hate. They've attacked me and beat me and hit me with cars, threatened me. Just the other day, a guy in Loyola, I'm just going by the beach, I'm doing a little video, and he pulls up behind me, tailgating me, and I'm just going to take a beautiful picture of the beach, and then he rolls down his window, he's a black guy, and he tells me to stop playing him and that he should shoot me. Hold it. He came flying up on me. I didn't stop him from going around me, but he stayed behind me for a little bit. Then he was going around, and he stopped, rolled down the window, and telling me to stop playing him. Playing him? You weren't behind me when I turned onto the street. You turned onto the street and came up on me. And then he threatens to shoot me. And then he's waiting down the street, sitting outside the car, waiting so I turn left on the side street. I mean, this has been going on for 10 years. What do you mean? Playing you? I haven't even seen you. I don't know you. I'm shooting a video about, Loyola University. Here's the beautiful lights up here, and they do a beautiful job. And they have a big nativity scene up here at the church. But they've made it clear as day, they unbelievably hate me here. So make no mistake about that. They unbelievably hate me. They make it unbelievably clear how much they hate me. So I don't know. My brother doesn't have any problems. My family doesn't have any problems. I'm the only one that has all these problems. So they've made it very clear they hate me. So, anyways, I'll get off that, how much they've made it clear they hate me. But they've made it clear, unbelievably, year in, year out, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, unbelievably attacking me and spitting all over me and cursing my name. Unbelievably. So, I don't get it. No one in the family. I'm in my car. By myself. Driving up and doing a video. And they come up on me. And they slam on their horn. They've hit me numerous times. A girl T-boned me on Fullerton Avenue in Chicago and then took off. Another Arab kid, when I was sitting at a light, hit me. Now, not hard. Hit me from behind. And then a Hispanic guy slammed into me on the highway. I mean, come on. But do you know how many people almost hit me? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how many people almost slammed into me over and over again. Here's some new places up here on Mannheim Road. I used to go to the Potbellies, and the girl that worked there, which she was pregnant when she left, I don't know where she is and how she's doing, but we were good friends. And I used to go into the little pizza place here, Rosati's. Now they have a chocolate place next door. And I used to shop at the Target up here. And then they have the Rosemont Stadium here. But no decorations, really. They have a couple things, but the stadium itself has no decorations. Plus, on this side, they don't have any screens. Now, they have on the side here, it says the Allstate Arena. But here, there's nothing Christmassy. And you think they'd have an Allstate booth in there, because this has been the Allstate Arena. And I wonder when Allstate is going to update the arena. Now, family, I guess the Geringers, they have a skybox in here. And so they have the monster truck events, the WWE, and many other events inside the Allstate Arena, but I wonder if they're going to upgrade the arena. Truly, upgrade the arena. You know, the Cubs one time, when they were looking whether the rehab Wrigley or this is where they were in a move to Rosemont. So you have the Chicago Wolves here. So I wonder if they're an update experience in here. So I think the DePaul Blue Demons used to play here. The DePaul Blue Demons used to play here until they got their Wintrust Arena. So this was the Chicago Wolves and the DePaul Blue Demons. But I don't know who's the nearest university to the Allstate Arena. There's a university around here, but I don't know which one. And the DePaul Blue Demons used to have their basketball games there. But nothing Christmassy. And, there's Joey Bono's down there. I used to work at. I like Joey Bono's. It's good Italian beef. They have good pizza. They have good food. They're, I think, an undervalued in Chicago, Joey Bono's. I work for them, and I like all their stuff. So, and I do think they're one that's you don't see much, and that's very underrated, Joey Bono's. But, again, this board here, laying out events. So, they need to make this bigger, actually. This is too small. It's too hard to see. And they have tons of hotels that feed off the arena. Disney on Ice can come there. And many other, I think Disney on Ice does come there. But they used to have a basketball team. The DePaul Blue Demons used to play there. It's the same setup as the United Arena. United Airlines Arena, where the Bulls and Chicago Blackhawks play. Well, around here, they have the Wolves, which is a semi-pro team, and others. But, again, it's a nice area, and they have the downtown Rosemont, which I'll go by again since I'm up here. But I do want to emphasize how much they've shown they've unbelievably hate me. That is